マイン、母さんね、お腹に赤ちゃんがいるの。
Well, that's a nice little plot twist I didn't at all remember happening from when I wrote the Sims version ages ago.
絵本？
絵本？絵本とはなんだ？
これで3回目だよ。
That wasn't originally getting a win until she pointed out that this was the first time, which tickled me for some reason.
私は楽器も持っていませんし。
なるほど。確かに楽器がなければ練習もできぬか。
新館長はどうしてもマイン様に音楽を習わせたいのでしょう。
It's interesting how new events never just happen for the sake of happening. Yay, new baby, moving on. No, instead it's used as a means by which to push her progression forwards in the church here.
お待ちしておりました、新館長。私の料理人が作ったクッキーです。
In that same vein, I like how she uses all of her skills and everything else to help her out in situations like this, even if it's just providing a new treat for a chat with him.
近いうちに昼食に招待しよう。
Absolutely adorable.
魔力を持つ貴族や見食いの結婚は、魔力的に釣り合いが取れなければ子供が持てないらしい。
Simply put, a genuinely interesting piece of lore. It never ceases to amaze me how people who write these stories can come up with such clever lore.
子供を産むためだけの道具として扱われるかどうかは、君が貴族らしい振る舞いを知っているかどうかにかかっている。
I liked the notion here that he's pushing for her to learn music in order to aid her in the future with potentially and likely becoming a noble by marriage, which would allow her a much greater life the better she is able to handle that crowd. So in essence, he's doing it for her own good. Not only is he a talented voice actor, but very clearly is also able to sing with a very lovely voice.
これならば、ものになるのも早そうだ。
しまった。自分からハードル上げちゃった。
Her reaction there to a compliment about how fast she's picking up music at the very start.
では、フェシピールは？私の椅子は？
なんか引っかかるけど、なんだろう。
It's awesome how, without actually saying anything about it, they managed to build a rather tense and uneasy atmosphere just via her requests and their reactions to them.
なぜあなたがフランに命令するのですか？フランは筆頭そば使いです。立場をわきまえてください。ロジーナ、私のそば使いを見下すような発言は許しません。
And now she addresses it, and in such a good way too. No messing around.
マイン様は青色見込み習いとして間違っています。
At the same time, they deserve a win for not having her roll over. Wouldn't be as much fun without the rising tension in the air. It genuinely got me on edge.
ロジーナの言っていることが正しいのかどうか、全員の意見を聞いてから判断します。
そのせいで灰色神官や見習いを下に見ているのではないかと。
それが一番の問題でしょうね。
Mine is actually very good here. She doesn't just take one person's side and that's it. She tries to listen to all the arguments and learn more about their world before making a decision.
楽器はうるせえし、人の言うことは聞かねえし、働かねえし。働かざる者食うべからずって知らないのか？
Him learning nicely and showing it by using Mine's words to him all that time ago.
孤児院に戻るか、この環境を受け入れるか、明日までに考えてください。
It's great how Mine tries to make everything a learning experience, whether on purpose all the time or not, because here she understands she may be nervous about trying something new and addresses that.
よくできているな。
It's odd. Compliments mean so much more coming from him because he almost never gives them out. Certainly not easily, and that was felt in this scene.
ビルマは以前、青色神官に騙されて花捧げに連れ出されたのです。
The anime leaning a little into its darker side that's rarely ever seen, as normally it's fairly happy-go-lucky most of the time. It's good to see that every now and then. As usual, take one here for the lovely piece of art that appears at the end of every episode.
昔々、あるところに3匹の子豚がいました。
子豚や狼とはどのようなものでしょうか？見たことがないものを描くのは難しいです。
This kind of event helps you to really understand that this is another world she's landed in and reminds us of that fact, as every now and again it does slip my mind a little.
そ れよりこれからビルムのところに来るときはフランではなくロジーナを伴うことにしましたから。
Mine really is very kind, and it needs a mention here that after she learned what she did, she then took these measures to make her feel more comfortable, which is very nice.
そしたら文字も覚えられるし一石二鳥だね。だったら人数分作らないとだよね。
I mentioned it during the first half, but it's good to see how Mine's character has developed from someone who only wanted to read books to now all of this stuff, making everyone's lives better.
アホ！原価を計算しない商人がどこにいる？
I'm not sure I'll ever tire of the oddly borderline aggressive way in which he teaches her a lesson.
セーノグ？
おいルツ、マインは何を言っているんだ？
考えていることが勝手に口から漏れてるだけです。
This, and how everyone is just so used to how she operates by now pretty much. Not even really sure why, but just as in Dr. Stone, I do find myself intensely enjoying moments like this, where our real-world inventions are being brought into their world, and you see all their reactions.
今度はビルムも一緒に行こう。
It's interesting how this was used to help progress her development and eventually helping her to face her fears, as things only get worse for her, such as what happened here. Also though, very brief not running on the spot!
私は一度聖典絵本作りをやめて赤ちゃんの絵本を作った。
How her ideas have never just been perfect recreations of things from our world. That's what makes it different to Dr. Stone, but I guess it makes sense there as he's a literal genius, to be fair.
道具はヨハンに注文した。仕事が細かいヨハンは私のお気に入りなのだ。
Another great quality is how she doesn't just have the idea and then magically it's been made. They always dive into how it's been made, who she approached, how it was sourced and everything else.
白と黒だけで紙を切った場合の見本として作ってみました。
新しい手法でどこまでできるか、私も挑戦してみたいのです。
ビルも
Subtle character growth on display already as she wants to push herself out of her comfort zone and to try her hand at something she's never done before, and it shows really nicely.
まるで別の言葉で教育を受けてきて、ここで使う文字を知らなかった他国のもののようではないか。
I'd forgotten that he came out with all of this here already, basically summing up her situation scarily close to the truth.
夢の中とここではない。二度と行くこともできない夢のようなところ。新館長は信じてくれますか？
君は隠し事も嘘も下手だからな。だが
Two wins here. Firstly, take one for adding to her long list of hilarious looking facial reactions. Secondly, because he could tell looking into her eyes that she wasn't lying or exactly telling 100% of the truth regarding how she is so intelligent, and it's cool that that was relayed so well.
新しい手法に挑戦したら少し自信が、今なら外に出られそうな気がするのです。
And there it is, very logical growth. She's awesome, and for me personally, it makes for a great life lesson about facing your fears. Something I myself had to do, but that's a whole other story. I love how they seem to put real detail into it. It's clearly not just black and white, but instead has patterns on it that you'd see from things like oil or paint being spread thinly.
マイ、切って。
A truly lovely little montage there to show how far she's come from the very start all that time ago, all the problems she faced along the way, and now she's made her own book. Feels good. A studio that decided to actually not CGI up the horses. There's really been a lot of character building this season already, what was discussed the last episode, and now here again with her not taking the bait. Two wins. Firstly, you can feel her pain at seeing this, and it's made worse because we know full well how much books mean to her, given that it's been one of the largest elements of the anime. but also credit to the studio for taking the time to fill this room with the books. Like, that had to be done all by hand, and it looks good, albeit terrible for mine.
そんな悠長なことしていたら逃げられてしまいちょっとフラン
新館長の部屋へ参りましょう。
In the same vein, he too has come a very long way. Now he speaks his mind and steps up here physically to stop his boss, as it were, from getting into serious trouble. It would be absolutely terrible of me to not give that a win, wouldn't it?
だとしてどうしようというのだ。
私ブラッディカーニバルを開催します。
That right there is some back-to-back facial reaction goodness related wins. She literally yells for so long I can't show it all without copyright issues. That was some nice work from the voice actress. They really could have wasted some time and focused on this for much longer, but to their credit, they really rolled through them super quick. That facial reaction, but also her being so hyped up to do this work in the library, is a nice touch after all the BS she's had to deal with the past 2 seasons. Nice that something worked out.
図書室を好きに片付けられることになったのです。こんな楽しいことはありません。いや
I must say, I do love it when she does these.
説明しよう。メルヴィル・デューイとはアメリカの図書館学者でデューイ実心分類法を発明し、いや
As a massive fan of all things history, I really appreciate moments like this, even if it is about books. I just enjoy pretty much all aspects that make up my lovable history subject.
ちなみに新館長ならばどのように分類しますか？
His reactions too. I just feel like you can almost feel him mentally being all like, what is the deal with this girl?
そうなんですか？それでどうします？どうします？
Him being totally caught off guard by how utterly hyper she is when it comes to anything to do with books.
魔術の本を見せるつもりは。
新館長、見せてください。お願いします。
Absolutely this, yeah. She's so crazy when it comes to books.
そしたら目打ちの先にこうして糸の端を押し込んで、うまくできた。
Just what I was talking about before. They're not now magically getting completed out of thin air. They take the time to show that she's come down there to teach the kids how to do it.
よくやったな。
Always makes me smile when he dishes out praise to her or them.
売れそうなものは売れ。
嫌です。
Really felt like this back and forth had to be shouted out specifically. It was one of the best ones of the entire season.
一番印刷の原子。活版印刷の活字です。
Another couple of real-world inventions making their way into the anime. I love it.
この子なら家に仲間ができたようで嬉しいな。でも女の子なら可愛くて嬉しい。
The father's response here when asked if he would prefer a boy or a girl soon. Bless his heart.
に嫌がらせされたくないので。
バカ者。嫌がらせで済んでいるうちはいい。
A really nice job of avoiding just spelling it out for the viewer, but letting us all know the same, that he's concerned for her safety with all of the insane improvements she's been making to people's lives.
吹雪で神殿まで来られないようでは困る。冬の間、神殿にこもるように。
It's a small thing, but even this makes for a great and tense ending to the episode with a story such as this one.
儀式よりマインの体調の方が大事だ。
神殿にこもる。それが私の仕事だから。
Mine
has grown a lot in her own way too. When it comes to dealing with her family, now she's actually starting to want to take responsibility for her job in the church and standing up for it.
だから私も魔力が必要な儀式にはきちんと出なきゃいけないの。
Also though, how she doesn't just say stuff. She actually lays out a really well formulated argument and solid logical points as to why it makes sense for her to stay there. Credit to the writer.
家族が様子を見に行くのはいいんだな。
It's really sweet how he accepts it, I must say.
どうしてマインはトゥーリばかりを頼りにするんだ。もうちょっと父さんも頼れ。
Like father, like basically daughter.
毎年 冬に入る前に騎士団から要請があることが多いのです。そこで執り行う儀式があるのですが。
これってもしかして責任重大ではないですか？
Just effortlessly pouring lore into the anime like it's no big deal whatsoever, but at the same time using this to transition us into the next big moment in the story. They really didn't have to put so much detail into this gate, but they did it anyway.
マイン、静かにしなさい。
Being nice to magical birds is always a win. It's really awesome that the studio did all of the birds' movements with hand-done animation and no CGI from what I can see.
何？この怒涛のファンタジー。
This. Just pointing that out. Always like it when clothing changes in an anime, even for just shorter moments such as this. That counts too! Dude looking pretty cool, no?
下町と全く違う。
This was the moment for me I felt the true size of the city for the first time, given that we're nearing the end of Season 2, and now we open up a massive new area.
フェルディナンド様、お変わりないようで何よりでございます。
Arios McLean from the Trails games, Kira from JoJo's Diamond is Unbreakable, Griffith in the original Berserk, and the Wizard King from Black Clover. I love this dude.
魔石を変化させた奇獣だ。魔力の供給が切れぬ限り自在に動いてくれる。
Likewise, this was the first time I really felt the magical side to the anime. Everything before now seemed 95% grounded in reality until this moment, so it was pretty cool.
まさかこんな状態になるものだなんて。
For the first time, at least in my case, this made me go all like, now it makes perfect sense why everyone freaks out so much, because that really is nasty looking.
見込み習いの祝福だ。
祝福？
I enjoy little moments like this because it serves to show how much mana and power she has that barely any of them have ever experienced something like this during a blessing event.
我の祈りを聞き届け、聖なる力を与えたまえ。
This is only made more epic by the synchronized chanting in all honesty.
見込み習い、あれは闇の神のご加護を賜った武器だ。
They deserve big props for only using this music now and not through the whole thing. Really makes this scene stand out as a result. That was far more awesome than I thought it'd be when it split into numerous explosive arrows. Great looking continuous motion shot where the camera never seems to break away from the action. I don't look at this anime and go, wow, the animation is amazing, as in tons of frames and whatnot, but this battle has shocked me in just how smooth it is. They clearly didn't cut any corners at all.
マイン様！
フラン、動いてはなりません。何があっても耐えるように言われたでしょ。
平民はそうやって貴族を恐れ敬って小さく丸まっているのが似合いだ。
In spite of the fairly nice sounding music for the scene, it still does well to portray a real feeling of anger in me at what she's going through here. Plot twist that I had entirely forgotten about. What's wrong with my brain box? I totally forgot she could do this too. This entire scene is way more intense than I recall from the Sins version years ago. I forgot it fought them off, and thus it made everything way more, well, intense, as I said. It's great. The animation on the cutting through the vine was way nicer than I thought it'd be, considering they had to show multiple fraying vines being cut away. Talked so much about her facial reactions this season, it'd be a crying shame to not include this.
私の髪を掴んで振り回したり、ナイフで目をえぐろうとしたりするのでしょうか。
Take the first 2 max wins of the video here. Firstly, because it brought back into focus the horrible bloody thing he said to her as a threat. But secondly, because of that lovely looking rotating shot.
身分差をわきまえよと指揮講座に言われ抗うことができませんでした。申し訳ございませんでした。
This guy totally gets a win. I thought I recorded him saying he didn't see anything. Glad I got that wrong. And so yeah, he's a good damn lad, he is.
身分差をわきまえれば守るべきものが何かおのずとわかるはずだ。
Both the animators and the voice actor did a good job here of showing his anger, because normally he's a fairly relaxed guy who barely shows any emotion on his face. Oh, you know I've been loving me these rotating shots!
前に手本と格の違いを見せてやってくれ。
It's actually really awesome to see him annoyed at having to show her how the healing process is done. This is great because it serves to show the vast, vast difference between someone like him and then mine who goes after.
我の祈りを聞き届け、聖なる力を与えたまえ。
Such an awesome showcasing of her power that she was able to do maybe 10 times more than the guy and had plenty more mana to keep on going if she wanted to. That was absolutely sick.
これが神殿と領主の承認を得た青色見込み習いだ。異論のある者は
How he uses this as a chance to show why she has been chosen and is special, and to make sure everyone understands this. Gorgeous looking scenery shot, one of the few times in the anime we're outside of the city.
君に関することは私の責任だ。本当にすまない。
Just a straight up lovely scene between the two of them, far warmer than anything that's come before now too. It's too long to show, but this entire interaction between the 3 of them can have its own win too. It just felt nice, like a decent way of wrapping up this part of the story really.
助けに行きたくてもどこにいるのかわからないし、すげえ焦った。
I'm so glad this part is shown, otherwise it'd seem so weird, but he logically had no idea where she was, but admits he was a complete wreck. That makes it perfect for me for their characters.
貴族社会、怖かったよ。
Oh, I completely forgot about this moment too. That's so sweet and so sad at the same time.
一体君は何者なんだ。
Can anyone let me know if the manga followed the same path? Meaning episode 1 of season 1 showed this moment, I believe, and now finally we've caught up to it. If so, that's some excellent planning ahead. It's so cool how they do a totally different art style here, especially how they form the figure of her past self on Earth reading a book out of the golden lines in the middle.
愛になる前に私がいた場所です。
前になる前。君が以前言っていた夢の世界か。
I can't believe I also forgot this happened and he learned the truth about her past and that she was so open about it too. Also take a follow-up win for how well they did the Tokyo landscape there. It's beautiful.
なるほど。このような場所で生きた記憶があったのであれば、神殿の図書室を見つけて号泣するのも。
It's easily missed, but that's a kind and understanding statement there from him. He can understand now how she was brought to tears when seeing a library in their world after living in this one.
あれは君の母親か。
はい、お母さん。私、お母さんに謝らなきゃ。
This is almost as painful as when it was done so damn well in the second season of ReZero. To be fair though, that episode was on an entirely different level, but still good here. Making food that legit looks delicious.
お母さん、戻ってきて。行かないで。
Take another here for the pure and genuine reaction I think we'd all feel in her place, regretting not returning the love her mother showed her when she had the chance.
最悪の気分だ。同調しすぎた。
Stoic as he always is, when he says this, you know it means a hell of a lot.
マイン。
私にはルッチや家族がいるけど、新館長にはしてくれる人がいないから。
Such a sweet moment between the two of them. I'm really glad as he tries to push her away she continues. It really helps him to see her true self shining through in the words that follow.
ずっと思い出さないようにしていたんです。思 思い出しても戻れないから。
This is what I'm talking about. It's so full of pain and hurt, and isn't even something I, as the viewer, had thought about, and it really hit me in the gut when she said it.
お母さんにもう一度会わせてくれてありがとうございました。
Ah, yeah, that as well. Whew, that's so well done, man.
囲い込みは必須だな。餌は本か。
How he tricks her to get it back is pretty hilarious, and goes to show how well he knows her by now.
マインを養女にしてくれないか。
何？
あれだけの魔力を持つマインの実は非常に危険だ。
The fact that this happens, which is huge, and I again totally forgot about it. I couldn't even recall him telling the dude the whole truth about mine and the memories, but he did it. Giving time for her to adjust to the things she had seen recently, the reality she was forced to face for the first time.
母さん、いつも美味しい料理を作ってくれてありがとう。
It wouldn't be a true season of this anime if we didn't have a pure wholesome scene to wrap it up. It's so lovely that she has the idea to thank those around her now while she has the chance.
みんな大好き。
Wholesome!
お母さん、ありがとう。
And have another one here, obviously aimed at her true mother from her past life. Have another Max Wins here for both going without an ED to give us this montage, but also because it was a real nice end to the season, seeing everyone again, and it felt so warm too.
大変結構。
And it feels like a nice place to drop a final one for praise regarding an important part of becoming a noble in the future. Darth Weirdo, Matthew Blunsett, Mao Liao, The Elemental Awards, Christopher Willis, Draki, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Orkeeper, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Birds Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Brian Bayot, Cameron, Christopher Tarasa, Commander Cyrus, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Aaron Winters, Guru, I Am Here, Your Edvinson, Kevin Alston, Cumfroik, Carly Welp, Lisa Marie Tim, Luis Minito, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Ruby Rose, Sataka Yari, Zyonx 44, Sean, The 100s, Tiger Lily Warrior, Sumbito, Wiccan Faye, Ali 50, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Devon, Iso, Garrett Vermish, Gibbs, Isel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Jafford 6263, Calnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevink 102, Knuckle Duster, Chris Madden, KY158, Carl Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gogati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Malcarius, Michael Lewis, Modiverum, Mudini, Mr. Firecool, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, 9028, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Q Flash, Ryan DeVirus, Sentimento, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Tricky Nicky, Willyman,